The 25th Hour Radio Show. I have comedian Tim Hawkins with me on the show today. Tim has a new book coming out August 4th titled Diary of a Jackwagon. Tim, thanks for joining me on the show today, sir.
It is my pleasure, my friend.
You know, you already have a huge platform as a comedian. So what pushed you to write this book?
Well, it was a friend of mine, Johnny W., who kind of he said, I need to really get serious about it. I mean, we've had one or two people in the past mention it to us, like in the book industry. I need to do a book, but it was Johnny W., who's a comic friend of mine. I've known him for about 3 years, and he has a buddy that is his name is John Driver, and he's a ghostwriter. So me and John got together and put all the material together, and then trying to form it into my voice from the stage. And it's a team effort, man. I mean, you got to have, an agent and just help, and a great publisher. Thomas Nelson is the publisher on this one, and they just have been great to work with. So.
You're used to putting on a show, right? Being funny on stage in front of an audience, but this book required you to be funny, on paper. Was that a difficult transition for you, being funny on paper?
It's weird. It's weird that some things you can't put on paper, and then some things you can't do on stage that work better on the page. So that was kind of an interesting exercise and challenge. It's almost like it goes down to what capitalizing and when not to use an exclamation point, or it's like punctuation has it, because you try. It's all about rhythm, right?
Yeah.
And you try to write with the same rhythm that you speak, and so that was a great challenge. So I think that the first book that you ever do is the most difficult. So I'm looking forward to the next one. It's a fun process.
So explain the title to us. What is a jackwagon? Sure. What is the diary of a jackwagon?
Well, Diary of a Madman, right? Somebody called me on Twitter. A guy said he didn't like a tweet that I put out there, and he said, "Hey Tim, don't be a jackwagon," and I didn't know what that meant. And I looked it up, and what I found was it's a military term that back in the day they used to, in the military, when they needed a cart to pull things around, they didn't have it. They had to use old spare parts and junk to create these pull carts, these carts that would carry stuff, and they were very undependable, and they would break down a lot. And I was like, there you go, I am indeed a jackwagon. That man was a prophet, and so I latched onto it, and now I call my fans jackwagon. There you go.
So you're labeled as a Christian comic, right? You are a Christian comic. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your faith. How does that play a role in your comedy?
Well, it's like I don't ever shy away from it. I mean, I want to be funny. I mean, a lot of people think Christian comedy, you're just up there telling jokes about, from the Bible, and there are. It's more who I am, because it's really, there's no. I mean, this is an old joke, but there's no such thing as Christian plumber. You're just a plumber. Just come clean my pipes. I don't care what you believe. But I think the thing is when, I try to be as funny as possible, but that opens the door during these shows to have a message or do a serious song or something like that, and take it to a different level. Because I don't want people just laugh and forget about it. I want to use the opportunity to encourage people and let them know look, I've met Christ, and you should meet him too. So it's really a great opportunity, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, do you often run into Christians who are offended by your jokes? I mean, when you're on stage?
No, and I'm surprised there's not more. Once in a great while, I will, but when that happens, I don't just blow it off and say they're weird. Sometimes they are weird, and that's just their problem. That's the thing. It's like my rule is, if it's man-made religious stuff, then it's fair game. Absolutely. I don't go after doctrinal stuff, anything like that. But if it's, like I said, when we pray and we use phrases that we don't, when we pray over that, we say, "God bless this food in the hands to prepare it." That's weird. Why would you just bless the hands? Why not you bless the whole body?
Yeah.
It's like, that to me is man-made. That's just, we all do it. So I think it's fair game. But what are you going to do?
you're on the road for days, sometimes weeks at a time. Do you have a strategy for keeping your family a priority? I mean, what advice would you give someone in a similar situation that you're in?
Well, actually, the way I tour is I go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday most time, most weekends. I'm back on Monday. I mean, what we try to stick to is no more than 3 or 4 days out. You got to be back home. That's one way we do it. Another way is that the advice I would give was when you're home, be present. Don't just, the tendency is to go off by yourself and, especially as a dude, as a man, you just kind of, he left alone.
Yeah, just go out into the garage and kind of wind down and keep to yourself.
Yeah. Hit something with a hammer. But I think the secret is being for any father is just be there. I don't think, don't pressure yourself to have all these words of wisdom, because I think it's kids respond to your presence, and I think that's the thing I found that my kids most value. And I'm not perfect by any stretch, but at least I make the effort to be there. And like today, it's like being home last night, and my daughter, she's backing up out of the driveway, and she backed into my truck door, the door of my truck.
Uh-oh.
And it's like, you know what? It's not the end of the world, but I was there. She came in, she had that typical, I knew something was wrong. She said, Daddy! I'm like, there's never anything good that comes after that. But, that being there and saying, hey, it's cool, we'll take care of it. Even if it's a negative experience, to me, it's positive because I'm there, and that makes a lot of difference.
So before we start to wrap things up, what do you hope readers take away from this book that you put out?
Well, I hope they take away that it once again, they get a laugh out of it. People read for different reasons. Some of them are dealing with some stuff and just need to escape. So if at all, I just want to. I say the main thing is just to connect with the reader in a different way than I do on stage. And it's like I said, it's the first book that I've ever done, so I'm really excited to see what happens. If we pick up any new fans or to bring anybody into what I'm doing. So I love creating materials and do products and things like that, DVDs and videos on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. It's what keeps that's thrilling to me. That's what I love to do. So where I hope that comes across on the page.
Yeah, so where can people go as far as social media, website, to get more information about yourself and your soon-to-be-released book, Diary of a Jackwagon?
Man, it's hard to keep up. You can go to timhawkins.net on the website, on the Tim Hawkins comic, on Twitter and Instagram, and also we have a Facebook page. Go check it out there. I'm usually pretty active on the Facebook page and YouTube. So I got to start doing Snapchat. Everybody except me and my family, except me, is doing Snapchat and my family. So I got to figure that out now.
Yeah, so do I. I'm still behind on Instagram. So
I know. It's good stuff, man. It's not better than the old school where you used to have to, mail out these cards, and who knows who would get them. Like everything is it's pretty much free. So we're trying to take advantage of that.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It's been a pleasure, sir.
Oh, thanks. Let's talk again sometime.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.